I'd like to welcome everybody to this year's Reverend Michelle's Excellence and Advocacy Awards ceremony. We have two wonderful people that we will be presenting this award to tonight. But I wanted to take the moment to introduce myself. My name's Zach Kiesling. I'm the chair of the Pardon Project Steering Committee. And for those of you that don't know, we are a group of people that are criminal justice involved, advocates, service providers, basically anybody who is willing to sit at the same table and, talk about what, we're really passionate about is our singular focus of pardons here in Pennsylvania, making them more accessible, streamlining the pardon process. We have worked with a lot of people in the past, including, the current and former secretaries of the Board of Pardons. We talked with the Lieutenant Governor and, we send them a lot of letters, and Toby sends a lot of emails, as you probably well know. We started off under the Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity as kind of a direct voice line to their executive director. Now we have branched off into a more, let's say, statewide focused independent group, which we're very proud of. We're working with Toby Oxome and his Pardon Project, the statewide Pardon Project of Pennsylvania. And under his tutelage, he's helping us through some of our growing pains. But we expect to, have our voices heard by a whole lot more people. And, we would welcome anybody who would want to participate or contribute. You can reach out to me or Toby. Our emails, Toby, can you put our email in the chat for everybody?
Yep, I can do that.
You can go to pardonmepa.org. That's a good website. Find us all at. If you'd like to read more about all the individual, pardon projects across the state of Pennsylvania. I kind of wanted to jump ahead a little bit in the agenda, and I wanted to recognize that we lost a major figure in the pardon world in Pennsylvania. Brandon Flood, unfortunately, passed away. And I'm bringing this up because I wanted Rev to kind of share her thoughts as well in her introduction. But Brandon, he was one of our most earliest, advocates that just listened to us and helped, craft a better pardon application. He wasn't afraid to go on camera. You'll recognize him in Pardon Me, the documentary. And I think it's, very fitting that he is memorialized, his words and, his spirit in that documentary, talking about, the thing that he helped us through, and we're forever grateful. And he will be missed. I had an opportunity to talk to him on a number of occasions, and just the insight and clarity that he could bring to questions relating to the pardon process or just your personal journey in general. His words definitely carried a lot of weight. So I also want to mention that when we awarded him the Rev Michelle Award in 2023, I was just informed he actually went in for his heart transplant a couple weeks later. I just want to say that this award, carries just that much more weight, at least in my mind, that we are able to present it to Brandon for all of his wonderful deeds and good works that he did in relation to pardons. And I just can't say it enough. He will be missed. And just wanted to invite good Rev Michelle to remark on that, and also introduce herself and, talk about the award that we're going to be presenting tonight. Rev, are you ready?
I am ready. Good evening, everybody. I am Bishop Dr. Michelle Simmons, and this award. First, before I even talk about the award, I want to take my hat off and salute Brandon, um, myself right now. Um, Welcome to everybody, all these new faces I never seen during a committee. I haven't been here, so you might not be new, but you're new to me tonight. So welcome to all the new faces, and to the honorees. Yeah, so Brandon Flood, I was the chair of this committee, from I believe 2019 to 22 or 3. And when I sat in the seat of chair, what makes a project successful and what makes it move if we're connected to good leadership in government, if you would, right? And so, you have to have somebody that believe in the project and that lifts it up and supports it. And so Brandon did that for the Paul Steering Committee when I was chair. We went to him with the application, which was very discriminatory. I never could say that word right, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It was 10 pages of stuff about an individual that had nothing to do with this right now moment. And it was asking about people credit and where they lived and who you was in relationship like 10 years back. Right. And so we took that application to him and he just said, Rev, y'all go ahead and rip it apart and bring it back like the way you think it should be. And so we did that. We took out the questions and we gave him rationale on why we felt that question need to go. And he took it to his team, and lo and behold, we currently have a new application process. And that's just one I remember. I remember him coming out meeting with us in COVID, right, to do a summit. Like, and I think his heart was big about this because he lived it like we did. You know, he was formerly incarcerated, he was pardoned, and then he got that seat as the pardon secretary or secretary of the pardon board. So I could just stay here a long time on Brandon, and y'all know I like to talk. But salute, hats off to Brandon. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And so, next about the award, I took a look at all the recipients since this award was created. And this award was created by this infamous team right here to honor me and my leadership. And it's the Leadership and Excellence Award because those are my spiritual principles, right? If I'm going to do it, if I'm going to be a part of it, it's got to be of excellence, period, right? And advocacy, we have to support. Every day I wake up, y'all, I got one thing on my mind, and that is make this world a better place. And so if it ain't advocacy, it ain't right. All right. So it ain't right. All right. So this award was created. And God bless them. They surprised me with it. But what I'm so honored about that everybody that has received this award, I believe this is 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 years, have been stand-up people that have been of excellence and have been of advocacy. And so that's why the award was birthed. I'm so glad the award is here. And I am more elated that the people that the Pulse Steering Committee chooses to honor year after year. And it's no other than this year. So that's a little bit how much I love Brandon. That's a little bit about the ward and how it was created and what it means to me and to this team. We really pick and drill down on people that has really been an asset to us, to the community. And one thing you know about me with advocacy, for me, advocacy means leaving a legacy for those that's getting ready to come behind us or get ready to come through what we've already gone through, if that makes sense. So that application was important because when we went through the pardon process, we had all those questions to answer. We had all of that bias, prejudice stuff to deal with. And so what real advocacy is that when you look back, the people coming behind you won't have that crap to go through. And I couldn't find a better word right then, y'all. So, um, that's my little take on it. I don't know if we talk about the honorees because they ain't been honored yet. So I'm gonna stop there because that don't make sense to talk about people that name ain't been called yet. So
Why-
thank you so much for my intro. I love you all with the love of God, and I'm so excited.
And I believe I speak for everybody. We love you, Rev. Like you bring an energy that is a wellspring. You know, for me, for others that listen to you, I can't help but smile every time I see you or hear your voice. And you know, I was honored to join, you know, as the chairman as well of the PPSC, following your footsteps, and also receiving the award last year. And you know, Rev, I keep on saying this, but one day I am going to bring my daughter to Philadelphia, and I'm going to have her meet you, because you are just one of those giants I need my daughter to meet, you know, in her life.
I
So
love the meter.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Now, speaking of the honorees, we're going to bring up two people that, you know, are going to introduce our first one, which is Senator Bartolotta. And I wanted to get ahead and say that, you know, this is one of the reasons that this award is very important, is recognizing, like the Reverend just said, the allies we have in government, excuse me, that help us further our mission, and who are advocates themselves, and you know, aren't afraid to be seen helping those who may have made mistakes in their past, but you know, they've done, you know, they've done the work to, you know, earn their pardon and be recognized for it. And I believe Senator Bartolotta and Senator Baker from last year are, you know, some of those wonderful individuals that deserve recognition. And I'd like to invite Brian Gorman to come up and speak about, you know, the good senator. And afterwards, Kyle Duff will present the award. Brian, are you with us?
I am. Thanks, Zach. I do want to report that unfortunately Kyle is in the ER, and I think he's going to be okay. But I spoke with Kyle, and he regrettably can't be here. But obviously he is. He's having some real pains, and was concerned about it, and went to the ER. So I talked to Kyle about an hour and a half ago, and I said, I'll cover us here, just so you all know. So he obviously sends his regrets, but has an emergency. It's my honor to introduce Senator Camera Bartolotta and present her with the award, so to speak. Senator Bartolotta, since 2014, has been the senator for the 46th district in Pennsylvania, which covers, I believe the senator can correct me if I'm wrong, all of Washington, all of Greene County, and part of Beaver County. So a good chunk of southwestern Pennsylvania. Senator Bartolotta is late into her third term as senator, and is on the majority of the Senate's leadership team, serving as its caucus's secretary. If you look at Senator Bartolotta's bio, which I recommend that you do, there's a lot to see, so I won't go over all of it, but just a few highlights. So she serves on multiple committees, including Community and Economic Development. She has authored or championed legislation that ranges from issues of domestic violence to benefits for first responders, including EMS and other first responders. Job training. One interesting piece of legislation has been free IDs for people who are without homes or homeless. So that's really looking out for those of us who are most at risk, which brings us to why we're here. That would be Senator Bartolotta's work in removing barriers for those who have past criminal records that are barring them or hindering them from employment and housing and other financial and other furtherances of their life. Before I comment on the Pardon Project of Washington County, Senator Bartolotta was one of, I have to confess, I can't always distinguish between an author, a sponsor, or a leader of legislation, and Senator Bartolotta may have been one or more or all of those things, but certainly she's at the very least a leader of the Clean Slate Act legislation, which has had three versions. 3.0 went into effect in February of 2024, and that seals older nonviolent misdemeanor and low-level felony convictions from public view. It has been a highly successful piece of legislation. I think it was December of 2020, Toby approached some of us in Washington County, including me, about the pardon projects and starting one in Washington County. And several of us readily accepted and formed the Pardon Project of Washington County. And Senator Bartolotta, along with her staff, were part of that original Pardon Project team that put together the criteria for who would be eligible for free assistance with pardon applications in the form of coaching, and led to the hiring of Kyle Duff, who, with some grant funds and with sustained funding at Legal Aid, has been the Pardon Project coordinator for the county for almost 4.5 years. And we've had literally over 150 people screened, and many, many people who have been submitted for pardon applications through the regular course of business and through clinics that have occurred. Senator Bartolotta and her staff have sponsored at least 3 clinics that are called Clean Slate and Pardon Day clinics, where we look to see if people are eligible for expunging, sealing, or pardoning the records. And if they're eligible for a pardon application, then those are submitted. And I think it's actually 4, I should say, 3 in Washington County, 1 in Greene County. The ones in Washington County have had, there were about 80 people the first time, and we had about 3 dozen the second and third time each. And in Greene County, we had 11 people come in July to the first ever Clean Slate and Pardon clinic in Greene County. Now, you might say 11, that's not a whole lot. Well, Greene County has about 36,000 people, so it has a much smaller county than other people, but we don't want to forget about those folks. And we had 7 pardon applications that came out of that had been submitted since July. So it was a very successful effort. The last thing I'll say is, so Senator Bartolotta and her staff have been part of the formation of the Pardon Project, but with issues like I mentioned, the IDs for those who are without homes, and the Clean Slate Act and the Pardon Project and Senator Bartolotta's support of pardons, these do have some very important effects in terms of economic development, community development, individual betterment, all of those things. But it's also for people that are not the most obvious people, or I would call it, the way I'll put it, political layups. So I think it's very important that we recognize somebody who is out there championing for all of us in Pennsylvania, including those who have past records and are looking to reform themselves, better themselves, be given a clean slate and a pardon so that they can start their lives again. And with that, I'd like to introduce and thank Senator Bartolotta.
Wow, Brian, I'm going to take you on the road. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That was wonderful. Forgive my cold. I've been fighting it for a very, very long time, but anyway, I think I might be stuck with it for a while. Truly, this is such an honor for me. I want to thank all of you so much for this. It means so much to me to be recognized for what it is, not just me, but my whole staff has been passionate about for so very, very long. Back in 2018, I started the first ever Criminal Justice Reform Caucus in the Senate of Pennsylvania. I can't believe it took that long. And Toby, you and I have talked about all sorts of details when it comes to that. And Brian, again, God bless you for coming out to the city mission and to Greene County and all of these places, coming out there to really give people not just a second chance, but really a second life. And it means so much. It changes so much for so many people. And some just don't even know it exists. Some people just don't even know where to start. They think that they've got this albatross around their neck and it's going to be that way forever. Brandon Flood was a dear, dear, dear friend. Loved him. God rest his soul. I was so shocked to hear what happened, because he has broken bread with us at our table many, many, many times in Harrisburg. We call it my Senate Sunday Salon. We'll have a big table of, 10, 11, 12 people from all different walks of life, all different experiences. And we just, have a wonderful little Dutch treat dinner and just share. And he was really passionate about changing the makeup of the pardons board, changing the makeup of the pardons process. And he and I discussed at length, what he ended up doing, which was triage, the ones that are easy to get over the finish line. Let's get those quickly. And then let's work on these heavier duty cases. Let's get more people, more employees in there. So more eyes and more brains working on all of these things. I was very happy about that. Again, back to the Criminal Justice Reform Caucus that I kicked off in 2018. That was in December of 18. So January of 19, Senator Art Haywood joined with me. He's my Democrat chair in the caucus. And we always laugh because we're so completely opposite. I'm a white Republican chick from the West, and he's a black Democrat from Philly, a guy. It's like, okay, how much? But you know what? And the rest of it sounds like a bar joke. What do Newt Gingrich, Van Jones, the ACLU, and the Koch brothers have in common? Criminal justice reform. Yeah. So we were just getting inundated with phone calls and support and, oh my gosh, this is great. Let me help you. And it was just, very, very fast paced with trying to unwind the crazy ball of barbed wire that had been started and secured in the 90s with lock 'em up, throw away the key, and, tough on crime. And we were giving literally life sentences to everyone who committed any crime in Pennsylvania. And it doesn't help families. It doesn't help neighborhoods. It doesn't help getting these people back on the right track, recidivism, nothing. And my passion was to make sure that the Department of Corrections lived up to its name. It's not the Department of Warehousing. So we have to do better, and we have to give these people a pathway forward where they're not punished for every single day for the rest of their lives for making a really bad mistake early on. To that end, when John Fetterman was the lieutenant governor, he called me to his office not long after we set up these criminal justice reform meetings and things. And he said, listen, I would like you to lead the charge on changing the makeup, the dynamic of the pardons board, because for too long, it's been nearly impossible for people to receive a pardon, because it's, especially for lifers, it's got to be 5-0, because back in 95, there was something atrocious that happened. But again, 1995, it's 2025. And the number of lifers who've been pardoned since then is it's almost non-existent. We have to do better. So he asked me if I would champion legislation to change it to 4-1. But I said, well, what about 3-2? And he goes, we'll never get that done. I know, but let's just start with this. So I've been working very hard on that. And again, it's like pushing wet rope uphill, but you don't stop. You get a couple of inches and you lose an inch, then you just keep going. And with advocacy and with stories and with people like you coming to the Capitol and talking to your legislators and sharing real life stories, it breaks through the noise. But we can't stop doing it because we get distracted. Shiny objects, this little thing like a budget. Hello? We just got it yesterday. Has anybody got a calendar? It's November, right? So we get distracted with crazy things that shouldn't be that distracting. And what we really need to be focusing on is improving lives, making safer streets, yes, but also not making an industry out of locking people up. We need to provide education. We need to provide support. We need to provide mental health care, drug rehab, all of those things that can lead someone into making a bad decision and ruining their life. So these are the things that we're focusing on. And I've been trying to work to sort of modify the pardons board in other ways, because, I'm all for putting people on there that are going to focus on the mission and not derail it. So that's about as far as I can go on that one. But we're really, really trying and hoping that we can shine a light on really what the mission is, and if we're really fulfilling that mission, or are we just throwing more and more and more roadblocks in the way? So we're on that tact, and with your help and advocacy and some letters and things, I think we'll at least shine a light on things that should be addressed. One last thing too, I meant to mention to you was that when I started the Criminal Justice Reform Caucus, and since I've started I don't know why you can't call it the Juvenile Justice Caucus, but it's the Youth Safety Caucus. Okay, whatever. It's, the intent is the same. One of my passions is eliminating direct file for juveniles. Why the heck do we have juvenile court if we're not going to allow them to do what they do best? But that's juvenile. So once I started this thing, Art Haywood, the senator, Democrat co-chair, then they started it in the House. Cheryl Delosier and Jordan Harris started the Criminal Justice Reform Caucus in the House. And almost immediately, literally in 2019, the four of us were presented an award that's a combination of the Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce and the Allegheny College. And it was Civility in Public Life. And the four of us, first time they'd ever done four people at one time for this award, but it was civility and public life. And it really made us feel really, really good that this was something that people were taking notice of and understand that it truly is bipartisan and it only helps people. So I'm just so thrilled that you all exist in what you do and that you're determined and you don't quit and you keep going. And I am so honored to be recognized by such an incredible group of folks. And I really am just, blown away by it. I really do appreciate it all. Thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for your help. And my door's always open, and I look forward to being an advocate and being a help in your future endeavors. Thanks.
Thank you
Senator.
so much.
So as the chair of the Pardon Project Steering Committee, it is my pleasure to present you this award in recognition of your energetic support and of the Pardon Project of Washington County and your persistent pursuit of ways to make Pennsylvania's justice system more just for all. So it's official. You are a recipient now. You are blessed. And thank you so much for your kind words. And I just wanted to say, you mentioned 1995. I was recently watching something relating to criminal justice reform with Representative Briggs. I believe he was talking at a Parcel event, but they basically had the same theme of, what do we not use now that we used in 95? Windows 95 and all these other things, pagers, beepers, things like that, all these antiquated things. But yet some of our systems that are still in place, are from the mid 90s. And, I think it is time to modernize and update, our way of thinking and to bring it more, congruent with, modern established research thinking and, studies. But I appreciate all your efforts, Senator. And please be on the lookout for some letters from me. I write all the letters for me and Toby. So you opened the door to us, and I'm going to be writing those letters.
Perfect. I'm in.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'd like to invite any of our audience to share their thoughts on the kind senator. Comments.
I'd like just to say one thing, and that is I've been to Harrisburg on a number of occasions, meeting with the Secretary of the Board of Pardons and others, members of the Lieutenant Governor's staff. And I will frequently just give a call or go knock on the door of the senator to see if she's in. And there hasn't been a time when she hasn't stopped what she's doing to say hello to me and welcome me in and talk strategy and tactics and big picture and asking what she can do to help. So I'm thrilled that all of you in the Pardon Project Steering Committee have seen well beyond the boundaries of Philadelphia and Harrisburg, all the way out to Washington County, to recognize the the individual but social impact that an elected representative can make when she's focused on helping other people. So, Senator, thanks for accepting the award. It's wonderful to see you, and I'm really proud to be here tonight.
Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now I'd like to invite the wonderful Rev Michelle back to introduce and talk about our next awardee, Paula
Mhm.
Budnick, who I just want to steal a little bit of thunder and say Paula's amazing. She's wonderful. She's my tanta, and she's who I call when I need emotional, any sort of support or, anything. She is always there. So please, Rev, take it away.
All righty. So our next awardee, which I call friend first, okay? And that's Miss Paula Budnick. And I, in my opinion, and still to this day, Paula Budnick is absolutely the glue. Come on, somebody that keep this important committee together. At least she did. She was my secretary or the secretary of the committee. And shout out to all the committee members that's on the call, Akeem and Deanna, and I think I seen Shu that was with me when I served. But Paula, come on, somebody. Paula just was on it. Her professionalism, her excellence, her questioning, her out of the box thinking really drove us forward. And what I love most about Paula, I love everything about her, but what I love most about her was when tough stuff got tough. And Paula had retired from her job. And Paula motto was like, I don't want another job. I don't want another job. But we needed her to stay put. And Paula stayed to the course. And she told me one day just as clearly, Reb, I got to do it. I got to stay right here. And so, Paula, your efforts have not gone unnoticed. Where is she at? I can't see you. Where you at, Paula? There she go. Your efforts, sis, have not gone unnoticed. You have done it with grace. You have done it with ease. You have done it with effortless. And if you did get tired, you ain't let none of us know. Praise the Lord. So I just want to salute you. I just want to say thank you, not only for supporting me and the team, but you see the big picture, right? You see why we stay. Most of us that I just mentioned are pardon recipients, and so we went through the process and we felt, led to stay to support others that's coming behind us. And so all of us have our internal burden while we stay. And so Paula, yours is just, and you're still here. And you're still here. One of the beginning members is still here and you're still working. And I love you. And I probably could go on and on and on about other things about you, Paula, but I just want to let this team know, this committee and these visitors and this committee know that we have a jewel in Paula Budnick. And I'm just so grateful to know you. And not only do Paula help me with this, y'all know I have a nonprofit. We celebrating 25 years. And Paula would let me stress her out about my nonprofit too. Come on, somebody. Today I will call her and say, Paula, help me with a policy. I need to put this together. I can't figure it out. I don't have the capacity. And Paula, you have just showed up so strong, so strong. And so I appreciate you. I speak on this committee for behalf of them, and they'll probably talk to you too once we go ahead and officially award you. But it is my honor. You have showed up in excellence. You have shown up in excellence. And I done said that 5 times, and I mean it every time I said it. Okay, y'all? All right. And we appreciate you, so much, because if nobody else know, I know what you sacrificed to stay. So God bless you.
Thank you, Rev. Now, as Chair, Pardon Project Steering Committee, I would like to present Paula, our indefatigable volunteer for always leaping to do whatever, whenever, in selfless service of her vision for a more just and inclusive society. And I'm tearing up because Paula, you are one of the good ones that will always be, at least in my book, a go-to kind spirit.
Yeah,
You
no.
helped me through so much. Last year when I was being presented with this award, a very few knew kind of the struggles that was happening behind closed doors with my family and everything else. But Paula, you were there. And I thank God, I thank the universe, I thank Toby, I thank Akeem, whoever else for bringing you into my life. And you have stayed. And I don't care what you say, you're still secretary in spirit. And I get reminder emails from Paula. I just want to say she may not be secretary, but she's like, hey, is a meeting this week? Or did this, I didn't receive this. Is this going out? And it's a kind reminder, a kind nudge. Hey, you need to get on this ball. And that is her way of doing that for me. So Paula, I would like to invite you to say some words so I can go on mute and cry in silence here.
Oh, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm really just really overwhelmed and really honored. I'm usually on the committee that chooses people. So it's really an honor and a surprise. And I want to thank my, I feel like I'm accepting an Academy Award or something. I really want to thank my, my colleagues. But, some of my family members are here. My children are here. My aunt and uncle are here. My loving spouse of 32 years is here. And I'm filled with people and friends. And this was a calling. This really was a calling. So thank you, Senator Bartolotta. It's so nice to share an award with you. I just want to say that seeing your name and being able to, it's just such a melodic pronunciation of your name. I love saying it. Seeing your name at the first clinic when Kyle said, and I think you and Kyle, we featured you in one of our first newsletters, just honoring, and you really set the bar very high for us because we took off from there. But before that, there's two visuals. I'm a visual person. So sitting behind, if you look at Barbara Hammer, I hung my suit. Sitting behind Barbara is my suit that I was sentenced to prison in. And I always keep my prison number on there so I don't ever forget, where I came from and what got me there. A ravenous addiction that sentenced me there. But my father bought me that suit. And when I first sent a picture to Toby when he was seeking people to join this committee, this brainchild, this big picture vision that he had, he couldn't believe that I still fit in it. So that to me is a great compliment all these years later, because the sentence was in the beginning of the 80s, and it's 2025, like you said, Senator. That's one visual. The other visual is my pardon. And I never, ever want to forget what this seal means to me. I worked really hard for it. And I wasted a lot of money too. And that led me to, some people have 15 minutes of fame, but I was number 15 in the afternoon session of the Appear in Person in Harrisburg in front of the Board of Pardons. and it was Senator Stack. And Josh, then our governor, was sitting on the board, and I gave it my all. I pleaded my case, and it was a 5-0. And I knew everything that I had done up to that point. And someone, actually, it was Steve Burke. Toby was looking for people to formulate an advocacy committee, the Pardon Project Steering Committee. And he reached out to me, among others, the original, I'll talk about the OGs, the original. And we met in Philadelphia. We had cold pizza, we had big bottles of 2-liter sodas, and we started to strategize a vision and a mission for what our committee was going to do. And I think we exceeded our own expectations. So I just want to say that I was very fortunate to receive that pardon in 2018. And it just, what else could I do? I feel like it's a calling. It was a calling to do this. We probably need to change the award from Reverend Michelle to Bishop Michelle, because since then, there's other people that have made great strides. And I just want to say, we honor Brandon Flood, and that was our first meeting right at the beginning. I think it was the next day, the world shut down. And he heard us, and that gave us courage to raise our voice even more. It was an original. I'm proud, and I know that some of my colleagues are really proud to be on the original planning group that led to the award-winning film of Pardon Me. And I don't care how many times I see it, I still get goosebumps, and I still see something that I didn't see before. So if anybody hasn't seen it, or you would like to host a showing, or you'd like to see it, please reach out and let us know. Because that catapulted us across the state. That really empowered us to go into and speak to people that I think were beyond our own planning imagination. We met people from all over the state, and actually SHU has received accolades not only from all over the state, but from other states and also across the country. So I just need to give a shout out as well. But that also initiated, let's not forget, we're still the people that are knocking on the senator's door. My senator, Amanda Capoletti, and I just want to end with this little story, because we talked about the universe. We talked about things coming together, and lately we've really been focusing on, are you registered to vote? Please vote if you are registered. I know last week my daughter called me, and she just she had just voted. And she thought about me, and she has no idea how that made my day. Is that I'm always the nagging mom. Did you vote? Are you registered? Did you vote? Are you looking at the candidates? Do you know you can email and call your candidates and talk to them and rally them to let them know that there is life beyond prison. There is life. There is a second chance. And I have colleagues right here that may not have gotten a pardon, but deserve one, but they live their life as if they have. And I also want to honor them as well. But then also we have initiated calls to action. We have knocked on your door. Thank you for listening to us, and we're not going to stop nagging. So this is very interesting, because lately we've been involved with recommending another candidate. And I happened to just be in town and was able to meet with the division director for Amanda Capoletti. And who knew that she was on the same committee? And our candidate had to meet with her as well. So we were able to send her all the information of interviewing that person. She was prepared. Let me just say she was prepared. And that's a result of being a righteous constituent. That's what I want to say about that. And we're not going to stop. You know what? You did talk about, Senator, you talked about we take one step forward and 2 steps back, and sometimes we get really tired. It's like, when is the system ever going to change? When is it ever going to recognize? When is this backlog? When are we going to shorten the backlog? And we're plodding along. And we do that, and I would be remiss if I didn't end by saying, he never likes to be recognized, but where would we be without Toby? He has that energy. He has that vision. And sometimes he'll say, this is the brain. This is how Toby's brain works. And yet I still don't understand it, but I'm going to stick around to see where we go from here. So the only thing I would say is, if you know somebody that is waiting for a pardon, doesn't know how to apply for a pardon, got a pardon, please let them know that there's a Pardon Project Steering Committee who is involved with advocacy, and we could sure use your help. And we thank you for coming tonight. Thank you so much for this honor. I feel so undeserving, and yet I'm so honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. You're an amazing person. Same with you, Senator. And I just want to point out, both of them didn't just, accept the award. They advocated in their acceptance speech for pardons. I just want to point that out. That is the personification of who we want to have as awardees for this. I want to open the floor to anybody else who wants to provide comment, but I see Shu has his hand raised. Shu, are you with us?
But there's no way that I can't say something. Let's talk about how much we love Paula. She's the unsung hero of everything that we do. But today she's not unsung. Today we are singing her song. Thank you, Paula, for everything that you do. You've been a staunch advocate and big mama to everybody that comes to you, and we love you for it. And I'm happy to be here just to say thank you, and we love you, and I can't wait to see you again. Hasn't been a magical road that we've been on.
Wholeheartedly agree. Thank you, Shu.
Hi, Zach, it's Dania.
Go ahead. Hi.
Everyone, excuse the lack of my photo there, but as most of you know, I'm a 24-hour caregiver to my husband who is recovering. So there's a lot going on in the background. But what I wanted to say is, first of all, I wanted to say to Paula, I absolutely love and adore you, and I thank you for your friendship. I thank you for just being able to pick up the phone sometimes and vent. So I really, really appreciate that. We need that, especially when you're caregiving. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, and thank you for always being there. You are, in my book, a dear friend, and I love you to pieces. Senator Bartolotta, I don't know you, but sitting here tonight and listening to the passion that you put out, and just speaking about what you want to do and the things that you have championed, along with you and your colleagues, I think is absolutely amazing. And we need you. And I thank you, and I'm glad that we're honoring you. Thank you for everything that you do on behalf of people who are looking for second chances in the state of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
So in closing, I'd like to invite one of our members and my vice chair, Angel Fox, to say a few words. For those of you who don't know, Angel has done a lot in her life. She has a lot of experience in a lot of places, walked a lot of hallways. one of which was, few years has state representative, now Senator Patty Kim's chief of staff. So she brought some unique perspectives to our group that, helps us navigate some of these waters. But Angel, are you there?
All
right. Would you like to close this out?
Yeah, so ladies, congratulations. Senator Bartolotta, I've seen you at the Capitol speak a few times. I've seen you champion at prison and speak. As a former House member and Senate member, or employee, I thank you for what you do for criminal justice reform. I know it's not easy rocking the boat, but you do it very well. You do it with decorum. You do it with compassion. And so I appreciate you and all that you do. Paula, I met you a few times, and you have been a ball of energy and a ball of information. So again, I look forward to learning more from you and working beside you moving forward. So again, thank you guys for all that you do. We appreciate you, and we appreciate having you a part of our team as well. So again, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Close us out, Toby.
And I'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight. These awards, they mean a lot to us, obviously. And but what really means a lot to us, even more, is just the people that we can help in the future, now, presently, who are waiting. For me, it fills my heart with joy seeing, all of these advocates, from different walks of life, gather in one place to hear these voices shared, on equal footing, equal ground. Some of us made mistakes, but, that doesn't mean we're any less human than the next person. So I would personally like to thank everyone for showing up, including the senator and Paula, of course. Thank you again. Toby, would you like to say any final words?
Putting me on the spot, man, but I think
I love doing that.
This has been a wonderful and joyful experience for me to see the Pardon Project Steering Committee come from meeting with me when I was executive director around a table eating cold pizza and warm soda to now where it is actually raising its voice on behalf of impacted people and communities around Pennsylvania. It takes effort. It takes people going beyond their jobs and their families and the stresses in their lives to think about other people. And you all have accepted that challenge with passion. You have worked changes to the pardon system. You've done letter writing campaigns. You've done instructional videos to help people gain confidence in how they apply for the second chance. And I am confident that when we have folks like Senator Bartolotta and others thinking about how to reintegrate into the fullness of society, those who have paid their fines and done their time, allowing them to rejoin the workforce and provide for themselves and their families. When we have people thinking about that on both sides of the aisle, we really can't fail. So keep up the good work. Don't lose your voices. Don't lose your strength. This is the year for us to come together as a community, as a state, fighting back on all the nastiness that's coming down from Washington and joining hands together in the greater fulfillment of each other as people are allowed to pursue their potential. It's great work. And I am blessed to be able to get up every morning and do that work and then go to bed at night knowing it's been a good day. So thank you all very much. And thank you, Zach.